Hi, I'm Gavin Wolpert from BridgeWinners.com, and we're here to discuss the boards from the first half of our challenge match. And we've invited Adam Kaplan to be our narrator and to ask what he wants to know about what we were thinking for different actions, and just to introduce from right to left, my partner is Steve Weinstein, and this is me. Hi, I'm Gavin, and Eugene Hung, Ari Greenberg, and finally Adam Kaplan. So Adam, you got the floor.
Alrighty, so I figured that we'd just go ahead and start with just go from the top down, basically. So on the first board, uh, Gavin opened one club and Steve bid a spade. After the strong no trump overcall. Basically, my first question for you is, Steve, for your redouble. This is value showing, of course, but were you forced to any specific level, or was it just values, no particular direction?
Well, I mean, I think it's really, there's a couple parts to that answer. When you redouble in this situation, since I was planning on passing two spades, I don't really feel like I've created a forcing auction. But I will say is that when my partner makes a redouble and then it gets passed out, it's so depressing. So psychologically, I hate to pass it out after I redouble, even though in this auction it doesn't create a force.
Okay, so you don't think you're sort of forcing to three spades, basically saying, I have enough to bid three spades, but I'm interested in penalizing along the way.
Well, I think let's say it went 2-0 and Gavin had passed, and now East Pralat had made a bid and I passed. I think Gavin has to bid because he doesn't know how unlimited I am, and I'm trying to get him for a number. But if Gavin passes, since I have a hand that's willing to pass two spades anyway, I could always pass it out.
Okay, excellent. And then, so I guess it follows from that your three spade bid, Gavin.
Well,
Were you
I had
willing to
a, I had a
defend
hand
three
with that. I couldn't really afford to defend three diamonds doubled. So, and which clearly from my hand, it looked like it was going to go 2-no trump, and I was going to pass, and it would go three diamonds double. I can see that coming from sort of in advance. And when I wasn't going to defend three diamonds doubled, I figured there was still a chance that we had a game, and three spades would be a nice and descriptive bid. Steve would know I have a non-defensive hand, an unbalanced hand that I chose to bid three spades in front of the opponents. It felt like I was sort of getting everything off my chest. Plus, I was not giving the opponents the opportunity to know that Steve was doubling diamonds before they make their opening lead.
Okay, and if you had passed over Chino Trump and then pulled his double to three spades, would that have been stronger, weaker?
Well, I mean, I guess it would be weaker. I didn't, that I might have had another thing in mind when I passed and then pull his double. Like maybe I was hoping that he would double something else, or maybe I was hoping they would bid something else. In this case, I knew exactly what they were going to bid, or because I was 4-1, and I think that point actually gets across to my partner. The fact that when I pull in advance, I probably know what they're. Steve has a pretty good idea that I have a singleton in whichever of his longer red suit is.
Okay, cool. So I guess from here, moving into the play, they started with a heart lead and you won queen, and played a diamond. They won ace, and just sort of speed through this a little bit here, but we reached an ending where you had been able to count out West as having three clubs, and based on their 2-no bid, could you have gotten this position right?
Yeah, I definitely could have been. I should have. It was really a pretty bad mistake. I roughed a heart here, which is clear. And now in the 5-card end position, I had a blind spot. I was planning on playing the 10 of spades. Well, I did play the 10 of spades and went cover king. And now when I roughed a club, I was picturing my opponent over-roughing and I was claiming, but I forgot, showing that, any player that doesn't plan ahead could really screw up any easy position, that my opponent didn't have to over-rough. He could pitch a diamond. So I certainly should have made it in the end position.
Right, going back to here, if you had played a diamond up,
right,
then you can elope. Right.
Right. If I play a diamond, now I trump it, and now when I trump a club with one of my equal spades, West is unplayed.
Right. Yeah, it's a neat ending. Um,
Yeah, it
so
was like, good morning, welcome to the match. You screwed up the first board. Well done, Steve.
yes. So at the other table on this board, North opened
Can you
a
switch on show played cards? Is that an option in the?
yes. There we go. All right, should be good to go then. Alrighty. So at the other table, North opened a mini rum and two diamonds, or precision two diamonds rather, and over South's two spades, Eugene faced sort of an interesting decision, whether to either pass or try to get into the auction. What were your thoughts here?
Yeah, I felt that it was definitely possible that we might have a making three no trump, but I've also felt I was in a very dangerous spot. My shape was flat, and I had Queen Jack fourth of spades, so that looked a little soft there. So I decided to take the conservative route and pass two spades.
Yeah, it was certainly very well judged here.
Well, I'd like to add in too. Eugene wasn't in the balancing seat, so his partner rates to have short spades, and if he has a game, Ari still has a bid left, which makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's very true. Then that's probably the deciding factor aside from the spade length, which is already unattractive. So moving on to oh, actually, one more thing here. So on this auction, this auction must scream for a trump lead, right? I mean,
I thought so.
this sort of situation is you sort of don't even look at your trump holding.
Yeah, so I let a trump.
Yes, and Declarer needed to figure out to play small from dummy in order to even have a fighting chance. And so after that, two spades finished one down for a push. All right.
Nice lead, teammate.
Yeah, thank you for that help there.
Alrighty, so moving on to board two. All right, so Steve, what sort of hand would you say is typical for the four spade rebid?
Well, I think that it's a hand that you don't really want to open four spades, possibly because you're not sure you're going to make it, and possibly because you don't miss a slam. So when you open one spade, you can find out if your partner makes a 2/1 or shows some life, so you can investigate slam. But when he just bid one no trump, it was there's very few dummies that I wouldn't have a play for four spades, and it was almost impossible that I had a slam that we were going to bid intelligently.
Right. So if he had like a limit raise with three cards, we wouldn't want him to be bidding on, right?
I don't really think he can.
Okay. Okay. So
I mean,
then,
if he has what he considers a perfecta and he feels like there's 5 level safety, he knows I didn't open four spades, so he's allowed to. But it's going to have to be what he feels is a perfect hand.
right. Okay. Excellent. And so on this sort of auction, West faced a very tough lead problem. John Adams, he made an unfortunate trump lead today, but what are your thoughts on what to lead from the West hand?
I think it's very hard. I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for a trump lead. I wouldn't lead the ace of diamonds, and I might lead a heart and I might lead a club, but I certainly have a lot of sympathy.
Anybody else weighing in there on the?
I really like a trump. As bad as it was, I think a trump. I would definitely lead a trump.
Okay.
I
I know.
I think when they open a spade and rebid four spades, it's often some 7-4 hand or some distributional hand that it could just so easily be a situation where they're going to be roughing something in dummy, and if we just start by leading a trump, that they, especially sitting over this strong hand, if he does have four diamonds or something, then I know I just need to lead a trump to beat it. It's going to be right so often.
Excellent. Yeah, I know. Kit Woolsey was mentioning that he favored a club lead, but I certainly have a lot of sympathy for a trump lead.
Yeah,
it's a very tough lead problem.
The other one more point in the bidding, Adam. If Gavin and I don't play artificial jump shifts, but if we had, then many people like Bobby and I would play three clubs would allow me to make a jump shift in my own suit, which I would do. But without that available, I think that it makes it so that there's no more practical bid than four spades.
Right. Yeah. A lot of times especially if you don't have a lot of agreements. Practical over perfect is certainly better.
Yeah.
So switching over to the other table here. So Eugene, your decision to stay out of the auction over one club was.
That was actually, I'm a little surprised by it now. I think I was a little distracted at this point. There was
at this
a bunch of
point.
activity happening at the table. Ari was having a little problems with his computer setup, and I didn't notice that I could have overcalled one heart. By the time I looked at my hand, I guess I realized I could have overcalled one heart. So that's why.
Yes, that's certainly the fun of playing online as opposed to in person.
Right.
But yes, so the play-in for spades was very interesting. You chose a small heart lead, which worked out quite nicely. But
Yeah. I'm not. I mean, I spent quite a bit of time thinking about this opening lead, and it's a tough problem. I again considered the spade lead, but I was. I felt that. I just felt that we may need to attack against this game, and so I decided to try a heart lead, aggressive lead.
Yeah, and I think that the North's two diamond bit also probably helped a little bit because you know that you're not sitting over a bunch of diamond cards in South. So
Right.
even if South were to be 7-4, your trump lead may not be as effective.
So they're bidding. What does their bidding mean? When a diamond showed 0 to 7.
Yeah, a club was 16 plus, and a diamond showed 0 to 7, and three spades. Sorry.
One spade was forcing.
Was forcing. Two diamonds appears to be natural, and
Yes.
three spades,
So-
no specific agreement.
One thing about this opening lead spot is you kind of have a very good idea with North being limited to 7 and South making a non-forcing call. You know that your partner on opening lead. I'm not sure how to use this information best, but you know your partner's got a solid 8 points over there. So it definitely should affect your what type of opening lead you're going to make. To me, that more so lean me towards a trump. Except I have ace jack 4 of diamonds underneath the diamond bid. That's why Eugene felt like I guess it was a good time to make an aggressive lead. I definitely agree with the diamond holding on side. That's why it's a good time to make an aggressive opening lead.
Right.
Right, and
compared to the other table, right, where you had no knowledge of the diamond suit and dummy.
Right.
Right. I mean, this is sort of a disadvantage of a strong club type auction where the opponents get a little bit more information, and it's just enough to help them make the right decision. And,
Well, not
today,
quite enough, as we'll see.
Right. Exactly. Right. Today it was a good start, but Declare put you to the test right away.
Right.
And so Declare has no immediate entry to dummy, so he was trying to get there with a diamond. And should you have gotten this right? Is there any way that you could get the defense right?
I'm not certain. I spent actually some time thinking about this at the table before ducking the ace of diamonds. I wasn't sure what was going on because 3 spades was not explained as. I could mouse over the explanation of 3 spades. He just showed a hand with some spades and I think it was non-forcing.
Yeah.
So I had very little clue about what was going on in the hand. I thought he had a late entry to dummy with the 3rd round heart ruff. I didn't visualize my partner having 4 hearts. And so I decided to try to shut out the diamond suit. But that didn't work out very well here because this was the hand where he desperately needed that entry.
Right. And even if you had flown ace of diamonds, you're still not out of the woods by any means.
Right.
So-
Ari and I do have an agreement. If I had flown the ace of diamonds, Ari's card would be suit preference. So he would be able to show that he held the ace of that's some club card. So,
yeah, that certainly would have been very helpful here. But if he wins the ace of clubs, then Declarer can unblock. So he would have to figure out to not only duck the ace of clubs, but to duck the 2nd round of clubs as well.
Well, a couple things about this. I think that I've not heard of that agreement. To me, this would definitely be a count situation, because it's so important to know whether to kill the dummy. I think that in this situation, if you do just give count, that when you fly ace of diamonds, your partner's going to tell you how many diamonds they have by playing. Well, were you guys like if you were playing count? If you were playing, let's say, upside down count, partner would play the 10, so you know they'd have 3. so you'd know that declare had a singleton. Or if they played the 3 or the 6, you'd know that they have 2 and declare's got a doubleton, and you need to play another one to kill the dummy. And I think that the third round heart ruff is not something that I'd be expecting, only just because they didn't play a heart back. They didn't either duck at trick 1 or play a heart back at trick 2. They're putting themselves at risk to have you guys play trump, right? If let's say the ace of diamonds was offside, that you just shift to a trump, and they wouldn't even get to ruff a heart and dummy. So it looks like declare's either got the 9 of hearts, but you have it. So it looks very much like declare's 7-2-2-2 or 7-2-1-3.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest inference here is the fact that declare did win the first heart. Because if they had started with 3 hearts, they almost certainly would have ducked trick 1. And I don't know if that's going to be enough to cause you to get the entire hand right, but it's certainly something to consider.
I think it's something to consider, but I don't really think that analysis holds perfectly, because let's say declare does have ace queen 7th of spades. He's not going to want to lose trick 1 to his right hand opponent where a spade can be led through him. He's going to want to lose that eventual heart to his left-hand opponent. So it's possible he does have ace there of hearts.
Well, he would like what I was saying, that he wouldn't necessarily duck a heart, but he'd win a heart and fire it back.
I think it
seems weird not to just get the ruff down and dummy, because if he's got ace there of hearts and ace queen jack 7th of spades, he's just going to make it by playing a heart back, and he's putting himself in a really big, a major risk by playing a diamond.
Right. I mean, it's a totally different situation at match points, though, where he might just be trying to steal an extra trick, risking the perfect defense beating him a trick. Yeah,
I mean, it certainly looks very likely declare has a doubleton heart, but I wouldn't rule out that he has 3. And I do think your preference agreement is interesting in this situation, but I'm with Gavin. I'd be a count giver to know whether dummy was dead or not. That's the way I would play and expect most people to play.
Yeah, it's a tough hand to get right, but it's certainly possible. But it's much easier.
What's interesting is if you do read declare for a doubleton heart, then how the defense would get it right is you basically, when you fly ace of diamonds and get the count, when as the West defender, when you then play the king of hearts and shift to the 8 of clubs, it's basically it's clear to East what's going on, because you didn't play a diamond back, you cashed the king of hearts, you basically you've made the East is also holding the king doubleton of spades. It's not they can pretty much see the position that they need to keep declare from entering dummy with the jack of clubs. They know that they need to protect their king of spades, and they know that their partner would have played back a diamond if the count was if your count had told them to.
Yeah, it's one of those hands that you might get right on a really good day, but when you beat a hand like this, you just feel like, wow, I'm good.
Right, and when you go down, you feel terrible. Yeah,
it's
definitely not happy.
When they make it, you're not happy, but it took a lot to beat it.